Thank you all for being here. I love all the chatter, having you all mingle and get to know each other and talk to all the campaigns that are here. Thank you to all the candidates that are here and supporting this event. We really appreciate it. My name is Reed. I am co-chair of Johnson County Young Democrats, and this is
JJ, other co-chair.
Yeah. So we had this is an annual event, our Building Youth Power event. I think this is the third iteration of this event. So great that it's one of our traditional events for our organization. And this event has always been just making sure that young people, whether it's Gen Z or millennials, make up about a third of the voting block that's going to be voting in the next election. So we want to make sure that young people have a seat at the table, have a voice, and are able to come to an event like this, see candidates who are running for elections, and see them coming to us to share their time with us, talk about their policies and what they want to do for us, because, again, we're a third of the voting block, and we should have
Some power.
some power, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so we all know that this supermajority, really no one party should have a supermajority the way it does in the Kansas State Legislature. And we know that it's responsible for gerrymandered maps. They tried to get Sharice Davids out, but she still stayed and won by even a larger margin, right? And unfortunately, that was also a racial gerrymander. We know that Wyandotte County is the most diverse county, and they just split it in half, which makes no sense. That the supermajority is also responsible for continuing to pass restrictions on abortion, even though we voted 60-40, securing the constitutional right to an abortion. Let's give it up for that. I'm not over that. And then, of course, the supermajority has also been responsible for passing transphobic legislation that has created national headlines and embarrassed our state. So I'm so happy that these candidates are here, that they're running, and that they want to help us build youth power. We know that young people we're the most diverse generation that this country has seen. And a lot of these issues that I just mentioned really matter to us, and they also matter for the future of our democracy. So we're gonna start with Deanne, the chair of Johnson County Dems, and she's gonna talk a bit. Yeah, give it up for Deanne. And she's just gonna talk a bit about, what's the game plan, what's going on, what should we be looking forward to this November?
Okay, I'll try to stay on track. Thank you for all the people in the room. It's great to see so many young Dems in the room. Yes, clap, clap, clap. So I'm 57, and my older sister retired last year. And she asks me when I'm going to retire. And I tell her I'm not. If I enjoy what I do and I'm good at it and I'm effective at it, then there's no reason for me to retire. I think the next 10 to 20 to 30 years of my professional and political career are going to be the most influential of my lifetime. And I think that's even more relevant this week. If you're effective at your job, there's no reason to step down. So I got involved about 7 years ago because of what happened in 2016. I could not sit on the sideline anymore. I was always a voter, but I never got out and worked for the vote. I never got out and worked for a candidate. And that had to change. And I knew that had to change because I could not sit on the sideline and watch this happen. So here, 7 years later, I've ran for office twice. I am now the chair of the most influential county in Kansas.
Thank you.
We are a political powerhouse. We are an economic powerhouse, education, healthcare, all of the top industries in Kansas are represented and come from Johnson County. And it's Johnson County that's going to flip this supermajority.
Amen.
And you are going to hear that word a lot today, and you'll get tired of it. But you got to know what that supermajority means. And if we can get rid of that, then Governor Kelly can actually get some shit done. Yes. So 7 years ago when I started here, one of the first people I met at a Young Dem event was Sharice Davids. And that was before she had even thought about running, I think. But that's before she even announced. So 7 years later, let's look at this leaderboard here. Who up here 7 years ago was in Young Dem? Chris Herron, Claire Reagan, Courtney Idrich, Lindsay Constance, Dinah maybe? Logan Healy. Brandon Woodard was a very influential Young Dem. Lindsay Vaughn, Julie Sayers, Clayton probably was a little out. Reishu, Heather Meyer, Jenna. I mean, look at all the people 7 years ago that were in the Young Dem group. So where will you be in 7 years? Where will you be in 7 years? Where will you be in 7 years? You will be influential in this party in Johnson County over the next 7, 10, 20 years. So you are in the right place today. Thank you for being here, and let's break the supermajority.
Thanks, Dan. Next, we have the chair of Kansas High School Democrats, Caroline Tolan. I'm so happy that you're here, and yeah, she's just gonna share what y'all have been up to on the high school level.
Thank you, JJ. I'm Caroline Toland. I'm the chair of Kansas High School Dems. I'm a rising senior at Topeka High School, so I don't know Johnson County that well, but I'm really happy to be here today and represent the high school Dems. Kansas High School Democrats is made up of chapters as well, can be a member. At our high schools, we just get a group of people together who want to better their school or their community. The chapter, the biggest benefit from it is just having that community within your school of your peers who all want to do something better. If you don't have enough people at your school who want to get involved, that's okay. We also give our members resources to get in touch with their county parties, to still be involved, get people elected for their communities, even if it's not with people from their school. This fall, Kansas High School Dems is hoping to get together with a bunch of our members via Zoom, because a lot of us don't have the ability to drive an hour from one place to another. So we're going to meet via Zoom and hope to have a lot of candidates there so that you can talk to us. We can go and look up your platforms and what you care about, but you can't really do the same for us. And with Kansas High School Dems, we're not here to just elect young people. We're here to elect people who who listen to our voices. And that's what we care about most. So in the fall, I'll try to reach out as many of you as I can remember, and you can reach out to us as well, so that you can be involved in that and hear from us, and so that you know what your constituents want. Me personally, I care a lot about gun laws and gun safety because it's something that I face in my school and just living in Topeka. It's something that I never thought I'd really have to think about because I'm from rural Kansas. I've never lived in somewhere with more than 6,000 people. So it's a weird experience for me. But I'm happy.
People in the room, but if you don't know me, my name's Jay Moyer. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs. I'm a proud Johnson County Young Democrat. And I'm also a proud member of Johnson County's inaugural Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coalition. But as JJ said, I am not here today to speak about myself, although that would be fun, wouldn't it? I'm here to speak on behalf of Stacy Nell, who is your state Senate candidate for District 23, which covers parts of Olathe and down into Spring Hill. Yes. And I have talking points, so pardon me if I'm I was told to say specific things. And the first thing I was told to tell you, as you're going to hear like 70 bajillion times today, is that this legislature in Kansas is not receptive to the wants and needs of Kansas voters. Listen, they are focused on restricting access to people's personal medical decisions. That's not right. They are not focused on common sense gun policy. They are not focused on climate policy in any way, shape, or form. Stacy Nell believes that there needs to be new representation in the legislature, and I agree with her. Now, well, thank you. I'm sure all of you do too. Now, as a young LGBTQ Kansas Democrat, I understand how important it is to have diverse voices at the table, which is why I'm proud to support Stacy. Stacy, since 2021, has served on Governor Kelly's African American Affairs Coalition in Kansas, and her job is basically to bridge the gap between the governor's administration and African Americans in Kansas. And now here's the thing. Being front lines in the legislature, Stacy has seen up close and personal how the gap is between the will of Kansas voters and the extreme supermajority of Kansas Republicans. This is why it's extremely important to break this supermajority. And we can do it in District 23. This starts in Johnson County, and it starts in District 23. Just to throw some numbers at you, 2 years ago, in the gubernatorial election, when Laura Kelly was reelected as the governor, District 23 voted 6 points in favor of Laura Kelly. And in the primary that same year, when reproductive health care was on the ballot for the very first time in the state of Kansas, and we showed the nation like how people actually feel about that issue, and we got a shout out during the debate because of it. Thank you. Senate District 23 voted an overwhelming 64% in favor of reproductive rights. This is a key district to flip in Johnson County and in Kansas if we want to break this supermajority. We deserve common sense leadership. Stacey Nell will bring that to the table, and I encourage you all in supporting her in her run for state senate. Thank you all so much.
And I think for any of the young Dems out there who want a canvassing opportunity, I think Stacey's going to do some paid canvassing. So I think I've been told to ask. There we go. So if you're interested and you can't, for whatever you canvass, you need some extra gas money, I think that will be an opportunity with Stacey's campaign. Okay, and who's? Nikki. Okay, and our next speaker is Nikki McDonald.
And this is where you clap. I feel like I need a stool to stand on. Thank you so much to the Young Dems for inviting us and having this event today. It's always a reason to have optimism when I get to spend time around young people, especially in politics. Many of you know me, and you know that I hadn't planned to ever run for office. However, we had a vacancy last December, and I began to consider what I might have to contribute after having become a community organizer and public school advocate. And ultimately, I decided to throw my hat in the ring and see what happened. It doesn't hurt that I've spent the last several years working on campaigns in Olathe and Overland Park. I've knocked more doors in my House district than anyone else, and that's given me unique insight about what issues are important to my constituents. Turns out I really like this job. I'm able to help regular, everyday people solve their problems. Problems like bottlenecks in receiving unemployment, getting licensed to start their career, in counseling. I helped a lady do that, and much more. While I might be relatively new to this seat, I'm not new to Olathe or the issues. Our family put down roots in Olathe 21 years ago, and I've been paying close attention for some time now. I may be new to the K-12 Education Budget Committee, but I'm not new to the struggles teachers in districts face. I have attended more school board meetings than anyone that I know. I did school board meetings before it was cool. My two children have attended Olathe Public Schools since they were 3 and 4, starting with Green Springs Elementary, Frontier Trail Middle School, Olathe Virtual School, and now Olathe Northwest High School. I'm really proud of our schools in Olathe and in Blue Valley. I may be new to Topeka, but I'm not new to the area. The taxpayers in this district deserve a representative that knows what it's like to struggle and sacrifice for their family, someone who understands how to stretch a budget. The children in this district deserve a representative who celebrates their accomplishments and successes. The teachers in this district deserve a representative who understands firsthand the pressures of their job and the sacrifices they make. And lastly, the voters in this district deserve an empathetic representative who knows from lived experience that a politician should never interject themselves into private decisions made between a patient and their medical provider. In Topeka, I have been defending bodily autonomy, and I will continue to do so. The loud and clear message that voters sent during the failed attempt to outlaw abortion in Kansas was clear. My district voted 66% against that harmful amendment, and Governor Kelly won my district with 56%. Now, some people tell me, I'm not worried about you winning, Nikki. You're going to do fine. But I'm here to tell you all That type of complacency is not how races are won. I have never expected this seat to be handed to me, and I'm not going to start now. I certainly didn't take this job up out of boredom or on a whim. We should all we should all expect anyone who runs for office to be prepared to do the hard work, to be responsive, to connect with the community, and to truly listen. I understand my assignment. It is to work for the needs of my local constituents, hardworking families, while supporting our amazing public schools. And the other part of my assignment is to not lose this seat. I'm going to need your help for that. You're going to need to reach into your pockets. You're going to need to carve out some time, and even just a word of encouragement here or there really goes a long way. It's important for me to look out for hardworking families, supporting our amazing schools and our strong small businesses. So I'm not afraid of doing the work. In fact, I'm already doing the work. This seat is not up for sale. It is not the kind of work where you just dial it in. I'm humbled by all the people who have come today to help us and encourage us, and I challenge you all to do more than vote. Move from outrage to action. Let them underestimate us. We know how to win races here in Johnson County. So it's time we roll up our sleeves and prove those skeptics wrong once again. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. Also, fun fact, Nikki trained me on how to knock doors. And Vote Builder, she's taught me a lot. So someone who's just consistently teaching young people, I mean, that's how we build, right, youth power, learning how to run campaigns and, hopefully one day run the state. So next up, we have Allison Hoagland. I hope I said that right. You did. Okay, sweet. Representing House District 15.
Thank you, JJ, and thank you everybody for being here. And Gina, we saw you come in. So I represent House District 15, and that is part of Olathe. It actually includes my old bus route. I was born in Olathe. Both of my grandparents, well, 2 of my 4 grandparents were born in Olathe. Every one of us went through public schools in Olathe. My grandmother taught in a one-room schoolhouse in Olathe. And so my roots are deep. My grandkids live there now. And what happens in Olathe is really important to me. And as a representative, not only do I serve the people of House District 15, but all of Kansas. So every part of Kansas, I don't understand it all as well as Olathe, but every part is important. One day I was knocking doors last term, and somebody said, "Do you believe in climate change?" I said, "What does it matter if I believe in climate change? It's science, it's real." And that's all they had to hear. And then they wanted to know if how I felt about guns. And I am a gun owner. They are safely stored, by the way. I said, I'm not going to take yours if you don't take mine. We'll all be fine so long as you keep it put away and keep your children in the house safe. So I did get their votes, which was wonderful. The vote no, I don't have the percentages, but I know that that was a huge deal in House District 15. I know it was 57, 58, I don't remember. Governor Kelly won, Chris Mann won. A lot of statewide races did really well in my district, and I'm hoping to capitalize on all of that. On my way here, let's get real. On my way here, I passed by somebody in my precinct, not just my House district, but the precinct where I live, out canvassing for my opponent. They had a vote yes for value them both on the back of their car. They had an I stand with Israel on the back of the car. Now, okay, I won't get real deep into national politics. But they're there. They're working, and we need to be doing the same thing. So I've been canvassing, but I can't do all of the doors by myself. I would certainly appreciate some help with that. Fundraising is going pretty well. My previous campaign manager is still getting the emails from Act Blue, and she's like, "Ooh, girl." But After the value of them both was defeated, I just want you to know that 5 months later, they brought over 20 bills were introduced in the Senate and the House. 21 bills after just being told, they did it anyway. Some of them passed. The next year, they brought 10 more. So those that think that that has been resolved on August 2nd of 2022 are far from correct. We're going to be fighting this every single year, and we definitely need to break the supermajority in order to have the ability to help Governor Kelly sustain a veto. My district was 63.7, even better than I thought. Well, again, my name is Allison Hoagland. I am running for re-election for House District 15. My website is allisonforkansas.com, and I've got some swag here, got some buttons. I've got some business cards that have this cute little QR code that goes directly to Act Blue on the back. And that's it for me. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay. And our next candidate is Vanessa Von West. Thank you so much.
Exciting. Awesome. It is just so exciting and empowering, encouraging, all of the words to be here today and see so many young people. When I think about the future of not only Kansas, but the future of Democrats in Johnson County, the future of our party, it is going to be because young people are involved, have taken the helm, and are really leading the way, quite honestly, towards a path for a better Kansas and a better future. So I just want to thank you for getting involved. I know that you all will mobilize those in your networks, both socially and in person, to join us this campaign and throughout the future season and legislative year. So I am Vanessa Von West, and I'm so excited to be in this race. I am running for the State House in District 39, which essentially, yay, okay, yeah, cheer for that. Yeah, it's an exciting time for our party, and an exciting time especially for this race, because I ran in 2022 as a relatively unknown candidate, unknown person, quite honestly, and it was a steep learning curve. And, you know, running for election is a courageous decision, and I did not know what I was getting into, but here's the thing. We were able to get our message out, we were able to galvanize support, and we only lost that race against a multi-term incumbent by only 200 votes. Wow. Only 200 votes. So we were this close to flipping the seat, and this year, with your help as volunteers and as advocates and as spokespeople, we're going to get it done. So we're counting on getting this done, and I hope that you're with me on that. One of the things that I want to tell you, too, is you've heard some folks talk about the percentage of people who supported Vote No in their communities. In my district, it was almost 70%. Okay? So we've got a lot of progressive thinkers, a lot of folks who are behind this initiative, and so we hope to galvanize their support. So I wanna just tell you that I'm not up here to necessarily talk about me. I certainly stand for all of the important issues that we are all behind, but what I want to talk about really is about the need for us to act together. So if you've heard me out talking, you've heard me kind of share my acronym, which is ACT, A-C-T. And the first A is about action, right? So we've got to not only march with our feet to the polls, but we have to take action in elevating our voices and really being involved in this campaign for all of us. Right? So think about the entire state of Kansas, think about Johnson County, and take action, whatever it is that you can do, whether it is writing postcards, whether it is getting on your socials and telling people about great candidates, whether it's picking up the phone, texting. We need folks to be about it and do it, okay? So that is my ask of you, is to take action. The C is for community. This is a community of galvanized people behind issues that we know, whether it is climate change, whether it is abortion regulations, whether it is gun sense. These are issues that we have to mobilize our community. We've got to talk to our community, and we've got to get the community involved in making a difference. And so please take that C personally and really engage a community of folks in order to get this done. And then lastly is the T. And the T stands for togetherness. So I mentioned to you that I stand up here not only as an individual candidate, but as a candidate running with a fantastic group of other candidates. And I believe that together, while it will take only 3 seats to flip, together we are a powerful force. Together as a party, we are a powerful force. And that force and voice needs to be heard in Topeka. So, today I ask for you to act, and I ask for you to really consider what this election means. So as an individual, sure, I had the opportunity to be the first African American woman elected to the Kansas legislature. Super exciting. But more important than that individual accolade is the reality that we must flip these seats, get this supermajority gone so that we can make a difference. So I'm going to wrap up my remarks and just ask you to go to the table over there, go to vanessaforkansas.com, learn about all the many ways that you can get involved, and really thank you in advance because I know that all of you are going to act.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, Vanessa. Okay. And before we move on to our next speaker, we're doing a little good on our programming, and there are a few more candidates here that would like to speak. Karen, would you like to be our next speaker? Sure. Awesome, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. To echo some of the things I've heard from some of my other candidates, it is so incredibly exciting to be in a room where people are this energized and this plugged in to what's going on and what needs to happen this fall. I'm Karen Thurlow, and I'm running to flip Senate District 11 and get rid of Kelly Warren. We have got to get rid of her. There's been a lot of talk today about abortion rights in this state, and I'm going to tell you, my opponent was one of the architects of Value Them Both, and she has got to go.
Yes,
She won by only 1,900 votes in my district in the last election, and that was obviously before the voters spoke in 2022. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, why on earth would you run for office in today's environment? But the abortion rights issue is especially personal to me because I am the mom of 2 grown children. My son is 25, and he's a mental health counselor, and he focuses on people with substance abuse addiction disorder. But what really has gotten me, to use Vanessa's word, to act, is my daughter, who is the same age roughly as Jay, is an OBGYN at the University of Kansas. And God forbid any of us are suffering from any kind of pregnancy-related complication, and you show up in her operating room, I don't want her to have to stop and think, do I save your life or could I go to jail? And that is where we are headed. And people are very complacent and uninformed. I can't tell you how many people have said, oh, the abortion issue, that was settled. Why aren't you satisfied? I've had people ask me, why aren't you satisfied? I am not satisfied because, to Vanessa's point and to Allison's point, these people are hard at work in Topeka trying to turn the clock back, and we simply cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen. And I am working together with Stacy and with Jason and with Andrew Mall. All of us on the Senate slate are lockstep to protect the rights of everyone in this room and everyone in this state. My district voted by almost 70% to protect abortion rights, and Kelly Warren said, I don't care what you think. I'm going back to Topeka, and I'm going to do what I think is right. And that is not what elected officials are there to do. So my Senate district is roughly 99th Street down to the county line. So I have got a really deep red pocket in my part of the world. but I've got some great House candidates. Pam Shernick, I'm looking at you. Ace Allen. I've got some great people. I will also have paid canvassing opportunities, paid volunteer opportunities for my campaign. I've got some stuff over here. Karen for Kansas, I would love any help because we have got to get rid of Kelly Warren.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm Ace Allen. I am running for House District 28. It's kind of in South Johnson County. I don't need to go into the detail. It's south of here. I ran 2 years ago with Stacy, who was in my class. Lost by 60 votes. So Vanessa. Sorry, it's not Stacy. Vanessa. Lost by 60 votes. And by the way, we shrank that vote differential two cycles ago from 2,000 to 900, 2 years before that to 60. So you can see where the trends are going here. And it's going that way in your district as well because of the work that you're doing and that we're all doing. How many of the younger people here are brought up, raised, born in Kansas? How many are not? I was not born in Kansas, not young, but I was not born in Kansas. I come here as an outsider. There are other people, other candidates here who do as well. Having said that, I have farm roots here that go back to 1850s in Lynn County, Kansas, where my grandparents were from. So I'm a physician. I came here to Kansas for its public education. KU Medical Center is one of the great public medical schools in the country, and I'm going to take that qualifier, the public, out of it because it is one of the great medical schools in the country. I'm very proud to have been there. By the way, my roommate in medical school he'd gone to K-State. So I just want you to know, I think you're going to K-State, is that right? I just want you to know we could still be friends. We have a lot to talk about. But one of the things, I was a restless young man. I grew up in California, restless young man, did a lot of things in my life. But one of the things I did when I was 18 years old, when I was the age of many of you here in this room, I worked on a political campaign in Massachusetts for a guy who was running for the first time. He was running as a Democrat for state representative. He was 20 years old at the time. He won. And when he was 21, he just turned 22, he became the first Democratic state rep in Massachusetts in over 100 years. The reason I bring this up is because I was working there as a campaign organizer. I was in charge of volunteers, and I was in charge of what was then a thing, which was coffees. We don't really do coffees anymore, but I arranged about 85 coffees. Did my effort help? Yes. Did it make the difference? I don't know, but here's what I learned. I learned about leadership, not so much from me, but from the guy I was working on. I learned about working in a group, how important each person's effort is to making things happen. It's kind of like being in an orchestra, I think. In an orchestra, no one instrument stands out, but the orchestra wouldn't be what it is without each person in that orchestra. And as a good friend of mine who is in this room today has told me frequently, all of us together are smarter than any one of us alone. And we can all do that together. So that's a little bit about me and what brought me here, by the way, after almost 40 years as a physician and an oncologist, is when I found out that my representative, there had been redistricting in 2022, my representative was not representing me. And you've heard this story over and over again, not representing me. Who's he representing? When they phone, whose phone call does he pick up for? Because it's not his constituents. We can talk about that. Who's he picking up for? But it's not his constituents. I just want to remind you all the magnificent history that we have here in Kansas as a progressive state. It's been sullied by the people that we've heard about, the people like Kelly Warren and so forth, the guy I'm running against, I won't even name him, sullied by people who are taking us backwards in the wrong direction. Kansas has a magnificent progressive history, and we need to bring that back. And finally, I really want to underscore that our job, my job, I'm not going to run for governor. I'm not going to. This is what I'm doing right now with my life. I'm 72 years old, and I am. My main concern is that we make the best possible situation so that we can pass the torch. And we are in that process to the young people in this room today. We are working for you. That's why we're doing this. We need your help in terms of, like, how do we get to you? I don't know about social media. I'm an older generation. How do we get to you? What is important to you? What do we need to be doing to make sure that the table is set and that you're helping us set the table for the next generation, so that 50 years from now you can talk about how you worked on a political campaign and it's your turn to be passing the torch. So Ace Allen, State Representative, House District 28. We have a table here. Margot Lightburn and her two sons are here helping out, and I really enjoy meeting every single one of you here today. Take care.
Thank you, Ace. Okay, and then Betsy, if you mind. House District 30. 30, that's right.
Hi, I'm Betsy Lassester. I'm running to flip House District 30. Thank you. My Courtney Eiderich ran in 2022 and lost by only 140 votes. And I'm up against a one-term incumbent who is not, like many of you have said, our district voted 65% vote no in 2022, and the current incumbent is not listening to that. And so that's kind of what brought me here. I am a mom, I'm an attorney, I'm a former high school teacher, I'm a small business owner, and I was just kind of existing until I started paying attention to what was happening. So I'm new to politics, but I am not new to Kansas, and I am not new to the issues that matter to constituents. I just want to tell a couple stories about myself and kind of what brought me here. The first is back in 2022, I heard all of the misinformation that was happening around the Value Them Both Amendment. I was one of the attorneys at the Kansas Supreme Court when the case that led to the amendment was decided. So I was well versed in how heavily regulated abortion care in Kansas already is. And so the misinformation that was coming out was just absolutely maddening. And the GOP kind of had us afraid to talk about abortion. It kind of felt like a dirty word. But I knew I could be brave, and so I started trying to talk to people about it and to the amendment. And one time I was at an aunt's house, and a family friend that I had known since I was in first grade brought up how this new legislation was going to permit like late-term abortions, partial birth abortions, and instead of keeping my mouth quiet, I spoke up and I referred to her as Mrs. So-and-so, even though I'm a grown-up, because that's just how I knew her. And I just explained, I said, the issues you're talking about are really hard to hear about, but at the end of the day, that's not what is at stake with this amendment. Really what's at stake is whether or not we're gonna trust Kansas women to make decisions about their own bodies, and whether we are going to get in the way of doctors providing medical care without threat of criminalization, like what Karen spoke about her daughter. And so that brings 2 points to mind. One, my opponent is backed by all of the outside money that supported the misinformation around the Vote No amendment. And so that's one of the things I'm up against. So like Vanessa's call to action, I can use all the help. I know the voters in my district agree with me on this. And the second is I will always protect Kansans' right to make personal medical decisions without government interference. And this includes medical decisions about if and when to become a mother and your gender identity. That's not the government's place. And I want doctors to be able to provide care without threat of criminalization. The second thing I want to share about myself, I'm a mom. I'm not super involved in PTA, but one of the things I get to do is vote how we spend our money. Last year, our school raised a bunch of money, and then we got to vote. There were two options. One was updates to our school stage, including like a fancy velvet curtain. The second option was vinyl wrapping on all the windows so intruders couldn't see in the buildings. And of course, I'm always going to put safety first, but it's just frustrating that because of this, what?
I'm sorry, frustrating that was even a vote.
Right, right. And everyone voted, we got the vinyl wrapping, so everyone was on the same way, like, everyone was on the same page, but we shouldn't be at a place where my 7-year-old and my 10-year-old are doing Alice drills once a month, and that the money you raise for fun things is supposed to be going to keep the people who dedicate their lives to our children safe. And so those are kind of the two issues that brought me here. So thank you very much for hosting. Thank you for inviting me here. My website is Betsy with an E for Kansas. There's a QR code to volunteer. Please reach out. Feel free to text me. I want to hear what matters to you, and I want to stay connected. But thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Jason, you're on deck. We'll have you in a minute. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. So my name is Jason Anderson. I'm running for Kansas Senate 35, and I was trying to think of a news story I could tell about myself, because there's a lot of people here that have seen me tell other stories about myself. And I was remembering back in high school, which we're not going to say when that was, but a while back, there was this program called Presidential Classroom. And the structure of this program is that they would take a couple of kids from each state, and they would send them all to DC together. So all 50 states, you had 100 kids, they all bunked together, they see presentations from their representatives and their senators, they tour the Capitol, they go and see all the landmarks and whatnot. And it was an application process to do this, but I was lucky enough to get selected out of my rather poor school to go to this program. And so that was the first time I can remember in my life, I was 16 at the time, first time I'd ever been on a plane, for starters, where I'd thought about the world beyond just the little cocoon that I might be growing up in, right? Now, I didn't go and do anything political after that, but it was very much a formative memory for me in the way that politics possibly works in this country. And as a few years later, well, quite a few years later, when Obama was running in 2007, 2008, and I had an opportunity to go work for the campaign. Now, sadly, I did not take that opportunity because I was also engaged to be married at the time, and you have this choice between family and career, or take a big risk on a low-paying job to go see what that world looks like, right? My point here is it's never too early to get involved in something like this, and it's never too late either. You will go through your life, and you will find a moment where everything aligns together, where it makes sense, like this is the time for me to focus on this thing because it's important to me, and the opportunity presents itself to be able to do that. And so that's why I'm running right now. The stars aligned. I'm running in an open seat, so it was redrawn in 2020 after the census. So there is no incumbent, which makes it a really great opportunity for all of us to flip one of the 3 seats that we need to flip for the Senate to break the supermajority. My opponent, who will also remain unnamed, he has a large army of Americans for Prosperity canvassers out, literally right now. Chairwoman Gina received one of these canvassing documents just a week or 2 ago, I believe. My own treasurer, my campaign treasurer, received another one just 2 days ago. I have a picture of it in our Slack channel, right? So we do need help. We do need help getting the message out, and there's a lot of ways to do that. I am not picky or selfish about how you help, right? If you have time to go out and you don't want to talk to people, but you just want to drop cards down, that'd be awesome. I would love that kind of help. If you are feeling braver and you would like to talk to some people, some safe people or some risky people, we have a way to do that as well. If you have people that have money that don't have time, we all need that as well, right? But that's why we're here right now, is all of the candidates here. We've all found ourselves in a place where the opportunity has matched the moment, and we're trying to maximize that opportunity, because realistically, this year is the last chance we're going to have for quite some time to break both supermajorities. And if we don't do that, and we go into 2026, and now there's a governor's race as well, and there's so much more on the table there. Heaven forbid the wrong outcome happens there. You now have a supermajority in the House and still in the Senate, and a Republican governor, and all the things that we have been fighting year after year for a decade will come to pass. And that's a really difficult thing to be thinking about. What was that going to be like to live in that moment? I got involved for public education. So that was the thing that really has driven me initially into it. There's a lot of other issues that have all been brought up here today. I feel just as strong about them as well. I've been doing a lot of work with school board races, trying to keep Moms for Liberty candidates out of school boards. That funding formula, so the way that money goes to our schools, that formula is going to be up for re-legislation and debate in either 26 or 27, I believe. So whoever is in office, no, we're good, we're good. Whoever's in office will be deciding how the schools get funded. And that is the beginning of two paths for the state for the next 2 decades. You can have well-funded, well-operated public schools, or you can see vouchers and money being funneled over to private sources, and it'll take a generation to get that back on course. So, Jason Anderson, Senate 35. Please look me up. j4ks.com is the website. Grab some material here with QR codes. And I believe we're canvassing after this event as well. So the strike team that's going out is going to be hitting Senate 35. If you have time today, please hang around, and we'll be happy to put you to work. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, last call for candidates for some brief remarks. Got 2? Okay, 2 more. Perfect, okay. Feel free. And then Gina, if you're cool, hang around and bring us home at the end of all of our candidate speeches. Awesome, okay, very cool. Okay, who wants to go first, Pam? I think we're also knocking doors in Pam's district.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
My name is Pam Schernick. I'm running for State Rep in House District 8, which is about 129th Street, goes down to 167th Street, and from Antioch over to Flum, and it kind of zigzags a little bit in there as you go. My background is in public education. I retired from Blue Valley Schools in 2015. I'm not a teacher. I worked at the administrative office as the administrative projects manager for the superintendent's office. As I said, I I retired in 2015, and I continue to volunteer in the elementary school behind our house in kindergarten, which I love. I also serve on the Blue Valley School Board Communications Board Advisory Committee. I am currently on the board for Kansas Advocates for Better Care. I'm a huge public education advocate, but on the other end, I'm also a huge advocate for our aging population, and you guys don't hear a lot about that. I was a caregiver for my mother, my father, my 98-year-old mother-in-law who died during COVID. I know the struggles that families have who have caregivers, and they need to find help in the homes. At your age, that may not seem like a big deal to you, but I can assure you as you get older and you have families of your own, this will become a reality. And we don't hear a lot about that. It's not sexy, it's not fun to talk about getting old and taking care of your parents and your grandparents. But that is something that I'm very passionate about. I'm the former chair of the Johnson County Commission on Aging. Jumping off of that, I am going to name my candidate. I am going to name who I'm running against, and I'm running against Chris Croft. And he is the majority leader of the Kansas House. As majority leader, he has control over the calendar of the House of Representatives. He decides what gets hearings, what gets voted on. He has been in office since 2019. He has prevented Medicaid expansion from coming to a vote. He supported the Value Them Both initiative. He has supported school vouchers every year he's been in office. And he just recently, this year, voted against allowing gay marriage in Kansas. And as I'm sitting here listening to everybody speak, I know, I can tell each one of us that's running, we're all passionate about all of the issues, but there's some things that we're more passionate about than others. Some of us are passionate about education, as am I. Some of us are more passionate about the abortion issue. Some of us are more passionate about other things. My youngest son is gay, and he and my son-in-law have been married for 10 years. They had to get married in Massachusetts because you can't get married here in Kansas if you're a gay couple. And after I saw the debate this week, as many of you did, I'm really worried about my kids. So my passion is my kids, because what's going to happen to them if something says gay people can no longer be married to each other, that they can no longer choose who they want to be married to? They're in the process of trying to have a family. What if they outlaw IVF, right? They won't be able to have surrogacy anymore. So my passion, schools, our elderly, LGBT community, and I will tell you that, as I think Jason said, Americans for Prosperity has hired paid lit droppers for a lot of these candidates. Chris Croft is at the top of their list, let me tell you. And they are out in force. I am embedded in Jason's Senate 35. House District 8 is in his district. They are out in force in Chris Croft's area. And so if any of you can sign up to Lit Drop, it saves the candidates so much money when they don't have to pay for postage. It really, really helps us. So if you can sign up for Lit Dropping, or we've got phone banking, we've got people writing postcards, and in the fall, we're going to need to do it all over again. I've been knocking doors, as all of these candidates have been knocking doors for a couple of months now, right? But then we're going to need to do it again in the fall after the primary. So I really, really appreciate all of you. Thank you for doing this. I will tell you before I sign off here, my first campaign experience was for my father. And he ran for state representative and served in the Kansas legislature for 20 years. He was Speaker of the House for 4 years, and he was a Republican. I was a Republican until a few years ago when I realized that the Republican Party no longer represented who I was and what I believed, and so I flipped parties, right? Thank you. But my involvement in politics and seeing his passion to serve his community is what has been inspiring to me. And when people say, who's your North Star? Who do you look to as you're doing this campaign? My dad is always sitting on my shoulder. And so I want you guys to all remember that as you're involved with campaigns, that eventually what you're doing now, even 20 years from now, is going to come back and you're going to be so glad that you got involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have 2 more candidates. We're running out of time. Let's keep it really brief. 1 minute, 2 minutes. We'd love to have you speak. Dennis? Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much. This was going good until we started mentioning Americans for Prosperity so many times. I'm going to give you my stump speech, and it's going to be pretty short. I start out with, hello, my name is Dennis Miller. I'm running for re-election of District 14. And then I say, there's a couple things that we need to do. We need to give you more money in your pocket. That's decreased taxes in various ways. We want to make you healthier. And when people say, well, how are you going to make me healthier? Medicaid expansion. More healthy people in Kansas means that you're going to be more healthy and your family's going to be more healthy. And the third thing I would mention is we have to fully fund public education, and that's special ed especially. And so those are the three main points that I talk about. And then I, basically end by saying, vote early, vote often. I don't say that. That's politically incorrect anymore, but that's kind of a fun joke. Contribute early and contribute often. And but contribution is not just in money. It's in your time, and that's where a lot of the Democrats, young Democrats in this room, show up. I'd like to mention a little bit of my history. I joined the Air Force at 17, got out at 21, went to junior college, and I was the president of the Young Democrats in Webster City, Iowa. I ran for state representative in the 43rd District in Webster City twice. I got beat both times. And when Beverly asked me to run this time, it was kind of as a fluke because they needed somebody to run against the Esau dynasty. And so I did win, but during the campaign, start of the campaign, they said, well, what would be a good slogan? I said, don't make Denny a three-time loser. Vote for him this time. But overall, I hit 3,300 doors. I talked to a lot of good folks, and I won by 220 votes. Now we're looking at 3,800 to 3,900 doors. I have 5 dedicated drivers to drive me every day of the week, and my wife said she's going to drive me on Saturday to pick up on some of those. So we're going to be hitting a lot of doors, and but we also may need some of your help to be drivers, to be people that drop pamphlets around, and I'm looking forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Marilyn Poskin. Wrapping us up. Let's go to round of applause.
Did you tell me you love me today?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Mary Lynn Poskin, Kansas House District 20. I flipped a seat in 2020, and I'm up for re-election for the 3rd time. And I am the mom of 7 children, and I do this job for the future of the state of Kansas and for all the young people in this room and the young people that you are fighting for. I can probably leave it at that, except I want to tell one quick story. I have interns who are freshmen. Some people won't take anybody who's not a senior in college. And when I got my freshman intern, one of them this time from Manhattan, she told me that her mother looked at my social media and said, AJ, she loves working with youth. You're really lucky. She's going to be great. So then my second intern is now my deputy campaign manager. She's out of town. But you guys are our future, and thank you so much for everything you do.
Awesome. Okay. Now, thank you to all the candidates for speaking and for being here. It's really appreciated. And now it is my great honor to introduce our fearless chairwoman, Gina Repass.
Okay, so I think I'm supposed to bring it home and then get us out for a canvas launch. So we're going to start with this. Everybody who's sitting, stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. See, I see people on the floor. I'm with you. I got you. All right, we're stretching out. We're getting ready to go. So I normally end with a little calm response. I'm going to start with that. Okay, because first of all, what you heard from these candidates is what you're here for. It's about your values. It's about your state. It's about your voice and your country. So we're just going to do a little calm response, and then we'll sit back down, okay? So what I'm going to say is our voice, and you're going to repeat that, okay? Then I'm going to say our state, and you're going to repeat that. I'm going to say our country, and you're going to repeat that. We're going to end by saying our values. Okay, let's try that. Let's warm ourselves up, all right? Our voice? Our voice. Nope, you failed miserably. Because I don't believe you. Is it your voice or not? Did you hear what these people just said about what's happening around you? Do you care about LGBTQ rights or not? Do you care about your schools or not? Do you value freedom and democracy or not? Because right now, I don't hear that. What I hear is, yeah, we're here. So let me know. Our voice. Our voice. Our values. Our values. Our state. Our state. Our country. Our country. There it is. Now you can sit down. Now you can sit down. Now you can relax. I'm done yelling at you. Okay? But part of the reason you're hearing that passion from me, first of all, I want to start by thanking JJ and Reed. And I didn't get to hear Caroline, but thank you so much. I'm going to get on you guys again. I want to thank Caroline Tolan, I want to thank JJ, and I want to thank Reed. Let's go clap for them. Listen, we're all in this room today because we are running for office, or we're supporting someone running for office, or we have a shared value, but we're here because the Young Dems invited us.
Yeah.
And as I'm looking around the room, I tell you what concerns me. How many Young Dems are in the room versus how many of the rest of us are in the room? Now, the rest of us being here means that we shared a value and we want to fight for it. But we have to have them. We have to have them. You're talking about margins of 60 votes, 100 votes, 200 votes. Where's that margin going to come from? It's not from the faithful. It's not from Cassie. Cassie's voting. Cassie's doing what she's supposed to do. Deanne Mitchell's doing it. By the way, did we acknowledge Deanne Mitchell and what a great job Johnson County is doing for us? Madam Chair. But that's not where we're going to make up those 60 votes. It's right here. Tell me your name.
Kingston.
That's a great name, Kingston. We're proud of Kingston. Okay? That's where we're going to make it up. But if we're not talking to the Young Dems, and by the way, let me say, beyond talking to them, are you listening to them?
Here, here.
I can tell you, they would tell you probably not. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm starting with what concerns me. Now I'm going to tell you what gives me hope is the fact that they're here right now. And for the Young Dems, I want to say what should give you hope is that you got all these people in the room because they care about you, because they know how much your voice matters. Okay? And then here's our challenge. I tell everybody our precinct captains are our heroes. Those people who I talked to, one of them the other day, she's like, oh, Madam Chair, what do you need? It's like, I'm on doors. It was like 1 o'clock on a Thursday, on the doors. Precinct captains are our heroes. Our legislators, the people in Topeka, fighting in the minority, fighting out the super minority, those are your superheroes. Superheroes. Every day, clap for them. They are doing a great job. Okay, we're gonna do a quick call and response. Who's a DC person in here? And I know I'm gonna throw you off of this. DC is Superman, Batman. It's a different franchise. You like that? All right. Who's Marvel? Anybody Marvel? There we go. Okay, guys, Superman's from Kansas. Just so you know, Clark Kent's family farm is in Kansas. So Superman, we gotta get a little DC love. But as we're talking about the Avengers, that's what gives me hope. Because what I see, these are your Avengers. These are the people who are going to come around behind the problem and help us fix it. With all due respect to us, and I'm putting myself in the S category, we haven't done a great job of fixing things.
No, we have not.
But you all, I'm speaking to my Young Dems, where's Caroline? You all are the Avengers. And I believe in you, which is why I'm here today. And I want to thank you. And now we're about to go out and we're all going to play the hero on our own story right now. We're going to go hit these doors. And I will tell you, I was planning to go with you. I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to go with you. Because we had a debate Thursday night. And it didn't go as well as everybody thought. Yesterday was a hot day. So I have been summoned to a DNC Biden campaign call. And like the 18 texts I've gotten about it to make sure I'll be there. So that is the only reason. I'm sharing that with you because that's the only reason I'm not on the doors. We will not win doing what we've always done. That's right. We're just not gonna. Republicans know that Ace lost by 60 seats. They saw the gap Vanessa closed. We were in that class together. They know how close Pam got. They know how close Vicky, or not Vicky, where's Nikki McDonald? Nikki McDonald. Brad Boyd flipped that seat. Jason, new seat they gerrymandered that. Karen's fighting against the devil, like down there. Anybody, close. Mary Lynn, everyone thinks Marilyn Hoskins is safe. They're coming for her because she's a strong voice. Don't be fooled. They will not go quietly into the night and let us break that supermajority. We're going to have to fight for it and fight like our lives are on the line. That's because they are. So I tell everybody all the time, what do I say? Get comfortable doing what? Let's end with that, and I'm going to hand it to JJ. Get comfortable. No, you got to repeat. Stand back up. Let's get some energy going. Stand back up. I'm going to say get comfortable. You're going to say being uncomfortable. 3 times, blow the roof off, and let's go fight for ourselves. Correct. You know me. Get comfortable being. Get comfortable being. Get comfortable being. JJ, come take us away.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a selfie. If you want to stand up.
Oh, I want to do a selfie though.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
Everybody to get back
Everyone,
here.
Everybody up. Or should we do it with the signs? Let's do it with the signs.
With the signs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we all.
So then everyone.
Yeah, let's get back there. That way.
I'm tall. Yeah, let me an elephant.
Hey, Deanne, you get a mouse.
That's all.
Keep going, everyone.
I'm not gonna force him, I'm just saying. You should. Come on, come on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Be lovely, lovely. More people. Do you want this camera? More people that we love.
Okay. I'm gonna say building, and y'all are gonna say youth power after. Okay. Building. Youth power. Building. Youth power. Building. Youth power. Sweet. Okay. Let me take a
Go down the picture.
One more.
Sorry.